Hi, my name is Marie Hargrove, and I'm a Retention and Recruitment Specialist for Racine County Foster Care. Today I am here with Stacy Scott, who is one of our foster care champions, which means that she continues to support new foster families as well as help us market and advocate for foster care throughout the Racine County. Good morning, Stacy.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Thank you for coming in to talk with us today.
My pleasure.
We're just going to be asking a few questions of you about your fostering experience. So tell me, how many years have you been fostering?
I started fostering back in 2010, so about 8 years this year.
Okay.
Yes.
And what was it that made you decide to go ahead and foster?
It kind of came suddenly but slowly, if that makes any sense. I grew up in a home that fostered children, and so I had a little background knowledge of what it was like, but I never really saw myself in that role as being a foster parent. But my faith plays a large part in my life, and I really felt it pressed upon my heart that was something that God was calling me in to do as far as ministry. And when I look back on my parents' role in fostering over all the years, I could see how, yes, it was ministry, because you do give a lot to take in one's children. But one of the main things that pressed upon me was our children needed protected, and who was going to protect our children. And I felt like, okay, I'm one person, I can do a little bit. So I looked into it and began taking the classes, and here I am.
8 years later, right?
Yes, yes.
Do you know how many kids you fostered over the 8 years?
I believe it's about 22. It's somewhere around that mark.
Okay, what age ranges?
I fostered the gamut, so I've had newborns to all the way to 17-year-old, right? I think it was 5 months before she was going to age out.
Okay, great. When you were thinking about fostering, how many times did you have to go back and forth with it before you said, okay, I need to go ahead and do this?
For me, like I said, because I felt like it was something that was pressed upon me by God, and I try to live that life where it's like, okay, Lord, what do you have me to do, kind of thing. It didn't take a lot of time thinking about it. There were 3 incidents that I felt like happened that really my mind began to zone in on. This something needs to be done.
Okay.
Something needs to be done, and it's like, okay, I can be one of those people that can do something.
Okay, and are those incidents something that you can share, or?
Oh yes, it's not anything personal life-wise, but I just 3 nights I was woke up out of my sleep, and I fell asleep with the TV on. I woke up and there was a show on, and the show started with a sister and a brother. They're rushing the brother to the hospital. He had tried to commit suicide, and so the film took us back. How did he get to that point? Well, one of the things was he had a difficult life. His mother preferred her boyfriend over her children, and there was abuse there. And his sister ended up committing suicide, and then by the end of the movie, he had gotten to the point where he had lost hope and committed suicide. And I just was so torn. It's like there was nobody watching out for those children. There was nobody advocating for those children when that mother decided, I'm going to live my life and not think about that. Another incident that happened, I woke up and I couldn't sleep, and I'm reading the Time magazine, and the earthquake had happened over in Haiti, and it talked about how all these children were left homeless, and there are people driving by in pickup trucks, and they were saying in their native language, food and water. Mm-hmm. So the kids, they're going to that because they are now desolate, and they were selling them into sex trade. I'm like, oh my God, who's watching out for these children? Who's looking out for these children? And let's see, something happened here in town. It may have been a drug raid. I can't 100% remember this one, but it may have been a drug raid, and I was reading about it. It was like they had to take all these children and where they're going to go. And I'm like, man, there's so many children that needs help. Who's gonna take these? Who's protecting these children? And that's when I was like, okay, all right, Stacy, keep saying who's going to protect these children? Who's going to look out for these children? There's something that I felt like God was calling me into.
Okay. How has fostering impacted your life and the life of your son?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I look at it as ministry, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this unto the Lord. But the benefits, the blessings that have come to me in my home, I believe, by taking in other children. I mean, you learn so much. I've grown so much. I have one biological son, and just the opportunity for him to be able to see, I believe it increased his compassion and understanding. And you know, I try to let him know how privileged he is and that how life is not like this for everybody. So I'm hoping that his heart is growing as well, that this may be something that he'll do along the lines. But then too, just the whole compassion side of it. Another thing too, if I can mention this as well, I recently was diagnosed with cancer, and I had children, 2 infants in my home, toddlers. I honestly believe that those little boys, having those little boys in my home, kept me going. Okay. Now, I mean, I wouldn't recommend that for you get a deadly disease, go some parts of children, but for me, that was one of the things that drove me to get up every morning to go to work. Had it happened at a different time in life, I would have took disability and wait till I went through my treatment, because there were some very tough days. But I'm like, Lord, I'm so thankful that I have these little boys, so that I'm looking after. I feel like they are keeping me alive. They're keeping me going. So, I mean, I know that's kind of a strange one, but I really do feel like they kept me going, moving forward. And the healing came so much quicker because I had these little ones in my house that I could love on and take care of and pour into.
Right. If you had to think of, we'll call it a success story of one of the children that you've had in your home, what would you say that was?
Oh, let's see here. So I've been doing this for about 8 years, so I'm trying to think of someone I had early on. Like success story. Well, I guess when I think about two of my earlier brothers, success in the sense that they were reunited back with grandma, and they're happy little boys. Now I don't know where they would have been if they hadn't come to me, but when we do visit, they're happy and they're excited, doing well in school, they're happy to see me. I'm praying that was one, by them being taken from the situation they were in and being placed in my home, and for that 2 years they were able to grow and be nurtured and be strong and just to grow up in a healthy environment has contributed to where they are now in a healthy state.
Okay. You mentioned the relationship a little bit with the bio parents, and you still see the kids. Sometimes potential foster parents don't go into it because they're afraid of a threat from bio parents and stuff like that. What would you say to encourage them to feel safe, to feel that it's a good thing to do?
Oh, wonderful question. So one of the things I did learn in fostering, because before I got into it, even growing up in it, you think, oh, there's these parents that are just done this and that, all these mean things to their children. And when you come to learn, when I became a foster parent, I learned that a lot of times that I'm finding, some parents just need a hand up. They need to be educated. They need someone kind of in their corner helping to advocate for them. They didn't grow up and have those skills, and so they're not being the best parent that they could be. So I'm getting to know them, and I'm like, okay, they just need to go through some parenting classes. They need someone rooting for them, saying, you can do this. This is how to be a successful parent. I'm going to take care of your child while you get these things, the different things in your life in order. And so it's not a scary thing. They are people just like we are. Make mistakes. I mean, granted, there are those situations where parents are not so nice, but I'm finding a lot of times they just need some help themselves. They need to be educated. They need someone helping to root for them as well. So I do go into it as a partnership. I've had to talk to parents. I'm here to help you. I'm going to watch over your little one while you get things together. And if there's anything that I can do to help you along in my power, then let me know. So I go into it with a partnership, and it's always the goal is reunification. So I'm not here to take your child and to keep your child from you. I'm very flexible. Let's work with a schedule that'll allow you to see your child in between your job or schooling if you're going back to school, things like that.
Great. If you had to encourage someone who's on the fence on whether to become a foster parent or not, what would you say to encourage them?
I would say it depended on the reason that they're on the fence, but I love how we are now pushing, or not necessarily pushing, but we are putting it out there as far as respite, because that gives you kind of get your feet wet You know, sometimes it is scary. The unknown is could be scary, and start with that possibly. Hang out with some foster parents. You know, attend some events. I know there's so many wonderful things that are happening around the city. Attend some events that are sponsoring, or talk to some foster parents, because a lot of times once you get to talking to other foster parents, those fears are kind of put aside, because yeah, it's the unknown. I do like to be open and honest. It is some work that comes with it. You know, it's not all sunflowers and sunshine. There is sometimes some work. There is some late nights. There are some tears, but it's worth it when you see what you're putting in and what you're sowing into a child.
Good. Well, thank you, Stacy, for coming in today. We certainly appreciate the work that you have done to help foster care and the children that have come into your home. We're sure that you have done a wonderful job, and we pray that you will continue to keep doing a wonderful job. So thank you, and we hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Marie.
If you are one who is considering fostering and would like more information, we host monthly information sessions here at the Racine County Human Services Building. Please look at our website, Racine County Foster Care, or bringthemhomeracine.com, and you will find the next schedule for the upcoming event. Thank you so much. Have a great day.